This video is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. The NBA season is in full swing, and you can get into the action at DraftKings. Check out DraftKings parlays and same-game parlays, where you can combine multiple bets from the same game for a shot at an even bigger payout. So download the DraftKings app now. You can use promo code BULLYBALL when you sign up. All one word, B-U-L-L-Y, ball. You can do it. I know you can do it. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Welcome into Bully Ball, presented by, yes, DraftKings. I'm Rachel Nichols. This is DeMarcus Cousins. The semifinals of the in-season tournament are set, Boogie. They are in Las Vegas, and so are we. We are here live at the Blue Wire Studios at the Wynn Resort and Casino. And now that we're in it, man, what is your take on the mid-season tournament?
Man, it's been actually a lot better than expected.
Mm-hmm.
It's been super competitive. It's got these guys, competitive nature going early in the season. That's great for the fans. That's great for the game. So I think it's been all positives, moving forward with this plan that the league put in. And, it's a good thing that it worked out in a positive way. So I think it's been good for the league.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's done a great job, energizing the base, like they say in politics. If you're an NBA fan, this has definitely made your November and beginning of December much more interesting than in previous years. I can't tell because I live in that NBA fan world. Do you think that people who are just general sports fans, the games the other night were against football Monday night, it's a little bit hard for me to tell if we're talking about it or everyone's talking about it. What do you get a sense of?
I think people are excited about it.
Yeah, you think
it's a main topic usually in your local gyms.
Yeah.
And, in your local barbershop. So, like I said, I think the plan worked out well in everybody's favor that, was pushing this idea. And we're getting the exact results that we wanted, which was high-level basketball early in the season.
Good games in the quarterfinals for sure. And then, they have coming to Vegas. They've got LeBron on one side of the bracket and Giannis on the other. I know the NBA isn't mad at that. Dame Lillard in there. They've got some big stars. They also announced what the hardware is going to be for this, in addition to the money, which we've been talking about. The hardware, they're going to give out a trophy to the team that wins. There's an MVP trophy, but the MVP trophy appears to be for the tournament, not for the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of interesting, right? You could have a guy win for the tournament, but not even be on the winning team for the game. So I don't know how that's going to work out. That's going to get there's going to be some controversy there.
Well, in a way, I guess the main result would be getting everybody to play at a high level. So regardless, a guy may slack back. It's like, man, we're down 30. We may not have a chance today. Well, you can still get a guy on that losing side to go get a 50 ball that night, and it's entertainment. It obviously is going to keep these fans entertained.
That's the name of the
game.
game.
Getting the best of the best, playing the best level of basketball, 30 games into the season. So, that's a plus, and that's exactly what we were looking for.
There's more hardware though, Bug. So here we go. The winning team, every member of the middle team, winning team, is going to get I'm laughing because it seems a little silly to me, get a medal placed around his neck, like Olympic style. How do you feel about that?
Theatric sale.
maybe do they do this in soccer? I don't know.
You wouldn't want somebody to?
I would not want someone to put a medal around my neck unless I won an Olympic Games. I feel like that's special for that. But I don't know. I don't pay attention to the soccer tournaments in Europe that this was based on. Maybe they get medals, although soccer's different anyway. There's all kinds of different things.
Medal,
I feel like medals should be for something. I don't know. It's lovely. The more everyone's happy. If it makes them happy, go for it. I wonder if next year we'll also see medals. It's a little bit. You want a medal? You want a medal? Okay, all right. So yeah, guys, maybe they want medals. There you go. There was also a basketball made out of solid black crystal. And you saw that photo of that. That looked nice. And this will go to an all-tournament team that they're also doing. So maybe a guy who got eliminated in the corners but will make the all-tournament team. So they're really trying to obviously make all these accolades mean something. Do you think that when, say LeBron.
It's Little League.
Well, I was going to say LeBron.
Everybody's a winner.
Well, say LeBron goes, the Lakers have had the best point differential of the tournament so far. He's obviously been the player on the team, of the Lakers. So if they went on to win, he would be that MVP, right, in this scenario. Or Giannis, if the Bucks go on to win, maybe he's the MVP or Dame's the MVP. Is this going to be listed in his Hall of Fame? Any of those guys in their Hall of Fame accolades that they won?
I'm not sure.
That they got a medal? That they won MVP? I mean, is it? Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not making fun.
I'm not sure how that would go. if it came down to my legend, I want everything.
You want everything on there?
Everything I earned, I want it listed.
You want it on there. All right.
If I had 3 medals, I need all three medals listed. Yes, absolutely.
See, there you go. We're learning something. Apparently, player, non-player. The players want it all. All right. I mean, look, here's what I think. I don't think if LeBron goes on to win this, or Giannis, or Dame, especially with a guy like Giannis or LeBron, who's won actual, season MVP awards, who's won actual, NBA championship rings. Like, I don't think this is high on the list, but I think when we talk about the in-season tournament, who won it the first time is something we will always talk about. And that's what I think LeBron has been after. Because when you hear him talk after games and how this has been, from the jump, he was the one from the jump who was like, oh, no, we're going to care in these games. And they were 4-0 and they had this huge, 18 points a game is what they were averaging their wins by. Like, it's because he wants to be the first, not so much that having it on his resume matters, I think, right?
I mean, being the first is also adding to the resume.
Right.
So,
there you go.
I mean, we can sit here and act like we don't know. LeBron wants every reward he can get, like, leaving out of this game, and deservingly so.
Yeah.
He wants to be known as one of the greatest to ever do it, so he's going to do everything he can in his power to make that happen. And winning this medal and all these new awards, that's just added to the list.
Now, when they beat the Suns, I'm looking for my paper here because I got quotes from the guys. When they beat the Suns, it might be on the back. Yeah. When they beat the Suns, we got to talk a little bit about how it went down. LeBron, 31 points, 8 and 11, 5 steals, played 40 minutes, ridiculous fourth quarter. But we can talk about that. We can talk more about how he's had a crazy year all season, ridiculous. He's turning 39 in 2 weeks. Can't talk about any of that, though, until we talk about what happened in the final 10 seconds of the game. LeBron calls a timeout. It allows the Lakers to maintain possession. Lakers were only up 2. The Suns would have gotten the ball back with 7 seconds and 2 deadly shooters on the court. Instead, Lakers keep the ball. What was your take seeing how it played out?
Janky business. That was janky.
Yeah.
It's really no explanation for that. It's no excuse. You can go back and look at the replay. You would literally have to come up with a lie. Excuse.
They missed it. The referee missed it. He was on the other side of the court.
They missed it. Yeah. They should have gave the ball to Phoenix, and whatever happened at that point happens. But you can't take the game away from Phoenix the way you did.
Well, okay. So the guys on the team had very different viewpoints of this after the game. KD was more like circumspect. He was like, "Look," he said, "quote, that's not the ball game. It's one play. It's a 48-minute game. I don't like to complain about calls. Sometimes the ref's not going to get it right. Sometimes it's on us to play through all that stuff, not worry about and not ever putting the game in the ref's hands." So that's one take. Book, not so much. He's like, y'all saw it, and then he's like, we're not asking for favoritism, just a fair chance. So which would you be after that game? Would you be Devin Booker or would you be KD?
Well, it also shows you the difference. It shows you who's the champion and who's trying to be a champion. So obviously, it's nothing but respect for Kevin Durant's approach. Like, I think that's, as a leader, I think that's the right approach to have. You want to always keep your guys in a positive space, and you don't want to trip over certain calls because it can doing that can start a habit, and then those habits become long term.
You don't say.
Yeah, I learn. But with that being said, I'm not mad at Book either because I was the type Book was. I'm fiery when I felt like things were taken out of my control when it comes to the game. I'm upset about it. Yeah. So I can totally understand where Book is coming from. But 2 different approaches, and I believe 2 different roles when it comes to that team. And I think both handle it in a respectable way.
Look, if the Lakers do go on and win this, will it stick in your mind? Asterisks of some sort, or like, I don't know if they should have even been there, or would it be like that was 3 games ago? Whatever?
I mean, you also can't look at it that way either because, the Lakers didn't force them to call it.
Yeah.
So you can't be mad at the Lakers for it and win their way. And that's how the game goes sometimes. It happens that way. So, it's really no fairness in the game. It's all about competing and, what happens.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't believe it should be an asterisk next to their name at all. Stop trying to put asterisks next to the Lakers.
Just I don't look. Nobody.
I don't get it.
Is shouting from rooftops more than I. That I think the 2020 title should count for more.
Man, that's
not less, more. Because that bubble was serious business,
yes,
and
was.
I think that anyone who says that's not a real title does not know what they're talking about.
Or just a hater.
Just a
flat out hater.
100%. Yeah. But no, I just how much do you take this stuff into account? I think it happened. If it happened in the title game, I think people might be a little more quick to be like, hey, how real is this?
Yes.
But it happened what will have been 3 games ago, and they might not even know. Lakers might not even make it there because they've got the Pelicans coming up. And I did want to ask you about that game, too. Oh, sorry. I'm going to time out. Should I ask about AD? Anyone? No one? Okay. Got the producers here. Anthony Davis. I do want to, before we leave that game. 27 points, 15 rebounds. He was 10 of 26 from the field, but really dominated up close. You know AD so well. You played with him. Why do you think he's a target for fans, even fans of their own team sometimes?
Well, one, he's the easiest target. We've watched this game long enough. We've been around it long enough. It'll never be LeBron's fault.
Right.
So, he's the easiest target. It's always going to be AD's fault. He could have scored 50. Well, he didn't score 52.
Right.
But, it's the nature of the beast. You got one guy that's established, legendary, so he's earned that right to, almost never be wrong. So, I mean, it is what it is, the nature of the beast. So AD's the easiest target. And for the most part, the people that are complaining or that do try to blame, AD for the struggles or the lack of, they're casuals. Yeah. They don't really understand the game and how it's played, or this is a moving puzzle, so every piece matters. So, like I said, they're just casuals. So they're trying to understand the game on a, not just a surface level. They'll never be able to get to that point.
Yeah, well, look, I'm interested to see what happens in this next game against the Pelicans because there's going to be a lot of attention on him. If we look at what the Pelicans did to the Kings, finally getting healthy, right? They look like they really have all the pieces working. Brandon Ingram had a nice, strong game. C.J. McCollum back from that second collapsed lung. My Lord, C.J., come on.
Man.
We've got to keep you healthy, friend.
Yes.
It was interesting. Zion didn't play for a chunk of the fourth quarter, and the Kings were really targeting him. And it's an interesting case because he is so explosive offensively. Even when they try to take his game away, he finds a way around it. He's just really just been exceptional so many times in this young season. But defensively, you can pick on him. And, it seemed like Willie Green had to decide at one point, am I going to let that keep happening or am I going to take him out for a little while? But you can't have one of your best players on the bench when it matters. So as a big man, what do you see there when you see that breakdown?
I think that's on management. I don't blame Zion for it. I mean, his strengths, his weaknesses. So that's management's job to put the correct pieces around him to make your star be a star, play at the highest level, and also complement everything that he brings to the game. So if one of his weaknesses is, being a defensive liability, you need to make sure it's something either in front or behind that's going to protect him at all times. So I put that on management. But regardless of that being said, as a player, you also have to hold yourself accountable. If these are your weaknesses, let's work on these. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or increase effort in another area to
make up for it.
Make up for that lack. Yeah. So even if it's being the loudest guy on the floor, the best communicator on the floor, you always know in every rotation you're able to coach your guys through it. That can help. You know what I mean? So. It's a balance of both. I mean, I could look at both people in both situations, and in the same situation, and you can blame either or. But it's a fixable situation. It's just about everybody getting on the same page with fixing that weakness.
He's had a couple great fourth quarters this season, so it's not like you can't play him in the fourth. Absolutely. But I am interested what happens in this game against the Lakers because this is a size matchup, right? This is where the Pelicans are going to bring it with their size, the Lakers with their size. The Lakers are a big team.
Yes.
What do you think? Who wins that aspect of the line of the matchup? Then?
As far as size, I would lean towards the Lakers. They got a lot of forwards around that 6'9", 6'8" area. So just seeing that on a nightly basis is tough for any team. So I would lean with towards the Lakers on that part. But I think they have the explosiveness to match that height on any given night. Zion is. Not your typical 6'6"
I was going to say.
So it's like that's kind of leveled out by default. You know what I mean? So I think it's a great matchup. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. So I'm excited for this.
Do you have a pick?
My gut's going to go with the Lakers.
I just feel like when LeBron wants something,
yes,
LeBron goes and gets it, right? And
the guy knows how to win.
Yeah,
so.
and sometimes, look, there's the Nikola Jokic in your way, but not this time. So,
yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the experience on this one.
But you like this Pelicans team. You played with a lot of these guys, and look, Zion, Ingram, CJ, Jonas Valanciunas, Murphy, Alvarado. There's so many guys on this team who I think have talent. Larry Nance, like, what do you?
Very young, talented group.
Yeah.
A lot of under the radar guys that they weren't big names coming out, but they're extremely talented. In the position they're in now. So they're gonna always surprise people until those names are really established. But I mean, as far as talent, I think it's a perfect matchup. Both teams are very talented. Both teams are hungry, and one side really, really has something to prove with being a young team, and another one has something to prove just because of their legend. So it's gonna be a good one.
Plus, you got one of the top 5 nicknames in the NBA currently on that roster.
What's that?
Grand Theft Alvarado, baby.
Oh my God.
That's such a good nickname. He does that move, right? He just steal the ball. Like, come on.
It's suitable for
right?
sure. Yeah, it's suitable.
I love that.
Sure.
Logo Lillard. That's one of my other favorites right now.
What's the other one?
Logo Lillard for like current NBA players' nicknames, right? We got to get a list going. I don't know who else we should get on the
Red Velvet.
I'm not hearing the guy. What?
Oh God.
For who?
I'm not calling a grown man Red Velvet.
Who's Red Velvet? Oh,
Kevin Herter, that's sick.
Please.
Yeah, I'm not.
Please, no. I'm not. That nickname is banned. Let's talk about the other side of the bracket. Bucks Pacers. Man, Tyrese Halliburton came out strong the other night. Yes, woo! Yes. I mean, he was crazy. That 4-point play, as things were breaking down in the last minute and a half, was incredible. It was so much fun. The environment at the field house. I love that. When basketball's hype in Indiana, those people know what they're doing. Yes. Like, that building is rocking. It reminded me of some of those Reggie Miller days. And I got to tell you, it was so fun to see that. And that's one thing about this tournament that's great. That fan base had that great moment. And that would not have existed in a random game at the beginning of December. Absolutely. So I love that. Look, they're an offensive wrecking ball, right? The defense, not so much on the defensive side. It's not that important.
Who needs defense these days?
Who needs it, I say. Given that balance, though, given that they put the gas pedal down, do you feel that, like, big picture, no matter what happens here in Vegas, do you think that, like, this team could actually contend in the East, or they are still some sort of defensive stopper away?
As far as the tournament goes?
No. Just over for the East this year. Look, we're seeing a team that's
I think they'll be a really good team this year. Okay. I think they'll be a playoff.
First round, maybe?
See, I mean, it's kind of well known. Things just change in the playoffs.
I know.
It's not regular season. So I think they'll be a playoff team.
Okay.
Will they be a second round team?
Got to play defense.
Yeah, it's going to be a little different. When teams start to key in and scheme and all these things, it's a different game. So and then also the youth isn't really the
same fact. Yeah.
You
guys haven't been there before. Look, I mean, this was Tyrese Halliburton. This was his first game ever on TNT.
Wow.
When you talk about experience, having been there, will not be the last. Yeah. But I mean, it was interesting to me too, hearing that. Like, when you were in Sacramento, did it take a while for the national media to recognize that they should be putting your guys' games on TV? Or with the history of Sacramento, it was good enough?
They made the right choice.
Okay.
I mean, views would definitely be down, but they made it. I mean, they got the right Sacramento team on TV.
On TV right now, not the other one.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're a young star, I mean, you were putting together all-star seasons. Like, if you're a young star and have your team either because they're not playing so well, or because they're in a smaller market.
Well, unless
you got to.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go.
Unless you're the number one pick, like, you could be as talented as you want. Like, it's just not it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You're not going to be on TV until you start winning games. Yeah. You actually have a good team around you. People want to see good teams. They don't just want to see, good players.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what the situation was. So, like I said, they got the right Sacramento rolling right now.
Will be interesting to see them play the Bucks. Before we get to the Bucks, what's your call there on Bucks Pacers?
I'm gonna go with the Bucks, man. It's no answer for Giannis.
Yep.
Miles Turner, say your prayers and a little sip of holy water. You're gonna need it. But yeah, it's no answer. It's literally no answer. Nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing there for him.
I was gonna throw you some numbers.
I'm gonna go with Bucks.
Yeah,
sure.
I was gonna throw you some numbers too about Dame and Giannis together, because they were 63 points they put in together combined in that game against the Knicks on Tuesday. And when Dame scores 20 or more, they are 14-1. And the fact that he has obviously been able to organize them at the end of games in a way that we used to complain about them not being able to do before we've seen it. The thing that they traded for, we've seen it. I would say their record is a little bit of a mirage. Like, they haven't won all those games in as strong fashion as they should have, but I'm willing to give them time to get it together. Do you think that they've had some defensive issues? Do you think that's going to come into play? If not in the Pacers game, then maybe in the final if they get that far?
I think so, but that's kind of expected. This is a brand new team,
yeah.
You know? So it's a brand new team with a brand new identity. Like, you know, what they were accustomed to before Dame got there, that's, you know, that was the old Bucks. So it's going to be an adjustment for even the guys that have been there 5, 6, 7 years, you know what I mean? Because this is a whole new system. They brought in a major piece that you have to make work. It has to mesh. So it's going to be new for everybody. So for them to still be producing like this on a positive note,
even in just a few months in,
amidst, you know, figuring things out and, you know, still creating the team chemistry, I think they're in a great place. And this is obviously a good sign that they're moving in the right direction.
Well, see, I think it's funny. So we were saying about teams in this tournament, you could tell that this tournament did not matter in the same way to the Denver Nuggets that it did to, say, the Indiana Pacers, because the Denver Nuggets are worried about June. Even the Boston Celtics the other night, Boston, I thought, played very hard in that quarterfinal game. I'm no way saying that they were, like, slacking off at all. But after the game, if you listen to their quotes, they were like, oh, yeah, it's too bad it didn't work out. Like, we got another game later this week. Like, they're looking at June. The Pacers, this was a huge deal for them. I actually think the Bucks, even though they're looking at June, they're more in that Nuggets Celtics category. I actually think it would be a big deal if the Bucks won this, because you have a bunch of guys who haven't played together, and to have them accomplish something together in a tournament setting with stakes on the line, and if they can put that together and win this cup, I actually think that will leapfrog them a little bit ahead than they would be progress-wise in their first season together.
That would definitely be a confidence boost, and
right?
I can see where you're coming from on that note. So, and also it'll be great for the ratings.
Yeah.
Lakers, Bucks.
Giannis, Dame, LeBron.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis.
I'm tuned in.
Not bad. Not bad. Do you know who else is good TV? Boogie Cousins. Good TV is Steph Curry. Steph Curry is good TV. Headliners with Rachel Nichols. That's me. Is back on Showtime. We got season 2 starting this week. I'm so excited. And the first interview, we killed it with the first interview, because we sat down with Steph and Steve Kerr together. And for me, this was so important to get them sitting and talking together, Boog, because I think this is one of the great coach-player relationships we have in pro sports right now. I mean, the way these guys have grown together and what they put together, and we saw that tested, right, with the Jordan Poole, with the DeMarcus Cousins.
Not quite.
Draymond Green, baby. With the Draymond Green situation, Steph ran in there, right? He did as much as a coach in kind of repairing that. So I was really excited to get them together. And one of the things we talked about was that they're similar players, and I think that helps the relationship too. The most accurate three-point shooter in NBA history was on that couch during this interview, but it was not Steph Curry. It is still Steve Kerr.
Wow.
Is still number one. And I asked them about that. And Steve, he explained why Steph isn't number one. He thinks it's because Steph puts himself out there a little bit more. Take a listen.
One of my favorite things about Steph, so we had a game last night, 1 second on the clock before halftime.
Right.
We have the ball out under our own basket, 94 feet away. He looks at the defense. He catches it, and he flings a shot 90 feet that actually comes kind of close. And that shot goes against him in the scoreboard.
Yeah.
That's a missed three, right? He takes these shots every game. And I'll be honest, when I played, and like most players, you get that ball, it's like,
hold it for
maybe
a
you take a dribble, like, oh, I don't think you don't want to ruin your percentage.
You give it to the rookie, right? That's a big move.
Throw a grenade every once
This
in a while,
guy shoots every one of those shots.
Right.
And I think part of it is he's one of the greatest showmen like that I've ever seen. Like you love the spectacular, right? You love to do something that nobody else does. And it took me a while to learn that, like, you know, our first year together, like you were taking some of those threes, and, you know, I had the voice of every coach I ever had saying, that's a terrible shot, that's a terrible shot, right? And then I realized, like, that's part of your superpowers, that you love to put on a show. But what I had to piece together was, part of the show is it also wins. This is not like just doing crazy stuff for the help. This helps us win. You know how many, like he made a full court shot at the end of the Memphis series, our first year together, at the end of the third quarter in a brutal 6-game series. He makes an 80-foot shot that basically helps us win. So he, not only does he love to put on a display for the fans, but he knows he's gonna make some of these.
I've been having so much fun with these conversations because they're just relaxed, shooting the shit, as you can tell, and you get some of these great stories. You played on that roster. What is it like watching Steph in a game make some of those shots, and in practice even, right?
Man, it's pretty sick. I mean, I remember days we would just, you know, we'll be walking into practice to prepare for practice. You know, guys would kind of shoot around before, and after that, you know, we would sit down, watch film, go over, you know, whatever we're going to go over. But, you know, Steph had this thing to where he kind of walked in the gym, and the first basketball he would see, he would just pick it up. He would toss it. And I watched this dude, like, make shot after shot after shot, just throwing this random basketball.
Going in.
Like it's just a little tennis ball or something. And it's just, so to, you know, transfer over to the game, like, obviously his confidence is through the roof with, you know, I'm going to say grenades. Like, those are grenades.
Those are right.
So, I mean, he makes some time after time. I know his confidence and his, you know, his mindset is that I know I can make this shot. So it makes sense why he shoots those every chance he gets. So that's the ultimate green light. Ultimate green light. We'll probably never see that again in the history of the game.
Well, Steph keeps teasing Steve. He's like, look, man, you were a better three-point shooter than I was. And Steve's like, yeah, no, that's not accurate at all.
Not even close.
Remotely accurate. Look, Headliners is back. This episode is going to debut Thursday evening, December 7th, Paramount Plus with Showtime. So go check that out. On the Radar, presented by DraftKings. In-season tournament odds, we've had those going up. But I want to talk to you about the NBA awards at the end of the season. There has been a new award that's relatively recent, the Clutch Player of the Year. We voted on that last year. And if we look at the odds, 3 of the players who are up for Clutch Player of the Year, who have the best odds, are in this in-season tournament right now. Do you think if, say, Lillard has a great clutch moment during this tournament game, even though they're not going to count in the regular season standings, that should be factored in voters' minds?
Absolutely. I mean, he has a history of doing this anyway, so it's not a far-fetched thing to consider Dame Lillard as one of the clutch players of the season. So he's done it time and time again. I'm pretty sure finishing out this tournament, we're going to get a clutch moment from him. That's just who he is as a player. So it makes sense.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, so far I would give it to Dame Lillard. I mean, he's been exceptional in that Milwaukee uniform in that category again. And as I said, like, just changed Milwaukee's sort of, geometry there. They can do things at the end of games they couldn't do before. So be interesting to see how that turns out. All right, our friends at All the Smoke, speaking of clutch players, Matt and Stack, recently sat down with Dirk Nowitzki. I want you to take a look at this clip.
28 points per game, 49% field goal, 46% three-point, 94% from the free throw line. Gee willikers. Took down Kobe, KD, and LeBron. We call that, as you know, on one. You was definitely on one. What mind frame were you in?
We started a roll. We won Game 5 at home, beat them in Game 6, went straight down to LA and stole a miracle Game 1 where Kobe was like hot. Had like 40, I think. Could seem like he couldn't miss. And we basically stole that one at the buzzer. And from there, I don't know, we just got confidence was getting better, and we had the roles were defined perfectly, right? You had Tricks and Kidd and Tyson, they were the defenders, right? On offense, we knew Jet and I and JJ, we were gonna wheel and deal and do our thing. And obviously we had some shooters, but I felt like our roles were perfectly defined, and we had a great bench that we can change the tempo a little bit. So I don't know. It was just a magical time.
28 points per game, 49% field goal, 46% 3-point, 90.
That is serious. Steven's point, right, that he went through KD, Kobe, and LeBron to claim his first title. I mean, in the history of the toughest road to the final, that's pretty good, right?
Dirk is solidified.
All right.
I mean, we know he got one. You know, he took a lot of scrutiny in his career for not being able to win.
Yep.
But the one he did win, it's not many that may even come close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's solidified in this game.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Now, his Hall of Fame induction was so much fun to be at this year. I mean, it was a crazy induction anyway with Dwayne Wade. I mean, all the guys that they had there. But Dirk he had such a great sense of humor about everything. Playing with one team his whole career and how special that turned out to be. He told me a great story about how Kobe tried to recruit him for the Lakers late in his career. And he was like, no, I'm not coming to your team. You can come to my team if you want, which I love. But yeah, look, if you look at the 95 Rockets, they won the title as the 6th seed. They beat the Jazz, Phoenix, Spurs, and Magic, who had won 57 games. Maybe, kind of. I mean, being the 6th seed is tough, right?
That's tough.
Right? And then to me, the 2016 Cavs are in that conversation. They swept Detroit. They swept Atlanta that was supposed to give them a lot of trouble and didn't. Beat the Raptors in 6. That was a little bit of messing around. And then, obviously we know what happened in the finals. You beat a team that makes history for 73 wins. That automatically counts you as having one of the tougher roads to a title, right? So, yeah. But I don't know. I think Dirk's got claim to the toughest road, certainly.
By far.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. All right, that's the one. Check out All the Smoke. That's a great episode, and it's up already. It's really, really, really good. All right, doom scroll. We are looking at social media, so you don't have to. And much of the social media buzz around the NBA this morning involved you, Boogie Cousins.
Oh, talk to me.
Last night, Kyle Kuzma was doing a Q&A from fans on Twitter, and someone asked, what was your welcome to the NBA moment? And Boogie, I would like you to read the tweet of what he said back.
Oh, man. Let's see. I hit Boogie with a nice up and under. Then bro said he was going to clothesline my light-skinned ass if I did it again. That's accurate. Yeah, man, that's accurate.
What was your strategy there?
He hit me with a really nice move. I mean, that's kind of where it stemmed from. But he was young at the time. I kind of throw him off his game. I don't want him to build confidence off a good move, to keep going in the game. So I'm going to throw his mind. Hey, man, do that shit again. I'm going to. Right here. Yeah, you right here. So, but it was fun in games. We laughed about it. Kuzis, that's my guy. So, still stands, though. Still stands.
By the way, Mo Wagner then chimes in. He says, Kevin Durant fouled me when I'm talking about his welcome to the NBA moment. He said, Kevin Durant fouled me, and without knowing it was him, I said, you can't guard me. And then it turned out to be Kevin Durant. And you were on this team. You, KD, and Draymond were all at the free throw line talking shit to me while I was throwing 3 free throws. He said, I was so shook I made 1 out of 3.
Yeah,
What'd y'all say to him?
I actually remember that moment. And for him to say, I didn't know it was KD, that's cap. That's the reason you got, we was on his ass the way we was after that. So, he was feeling himself. He made a couple good plays, and Mo, he's a chirper. So he likes to get under people's skin. He likes to say off the wall shit. Yeah, he did that, and it bit him in the ass in the end. So
KD piled onto this. Also this morning, he said, damn, I remember walking away from that game thinking that rookie's an asshole.
There you go. It makes my point right there.
I just love that guys are still like, yeah, my welcome to the NBA moment with Boogie Cousins. Two for one on this, 100%. I'm sure they are not the only ones. Right. Look, let's talk a little NBA expansion because Adam Silver was once again talking about this. The Guardian newspaper ranking the top 5 cities that could land a team. Number 5 on the list was Vancouver. I would like to see the NBA back in Vancouver personally as a person who visits NBA games, just saying. Number 4, Montreal. I would also like to see that. That would be phenomenal. I used to cover hockey. Montreal, a fantastic city. But let's get more into the realm of reality. Number 3 on this list is Mexico City. Number 2 is Seattle. And number 1 is, where we sit here, fabulous Las Vegas. And look, Las Vegas and Seattle we've been talking about for years. Yes. This feels like a sure thing. Mexico City, though, the league is like dabbled in being interested in being there. They play a game there at least once a year, sometimes more often. What would you think about putting an actual NBA team in Mexico City?
It would be interesting. You know, it would be different. I don't know how, you know, how comfortable guys would be with, you know, moving their entire family to Mexico and things of that nature. Mexico City is a beautiful city and things like that. It's a different world. You know what I mean? It's different than what we're accustomed to. So I don't know. It would be interesting. But, you know, as far as Seattle and Vegas, those make perfect sense.
Those relax.
Absolutely. You move 2 guys to the west, you know, and maybe Memphis and New Orleans.
Yes, exactly. Realign where they should be.
Absolutely. So those obviously make sense. So.
Yeah. No, I want to see that, obviously. Seattle deserves a team back. I'm not sure it should have, you know, been moved in the first place. Although Oklahoma City's, they've shown up for that team, so that's great. Sacramento almost moved to Seattle, but having a new, fresh team, I think would be good for them. Las Vegas.
Absolutely.
Be good for them. All right. Well, we will see what happens with these tournament games. You and I will be there. And I'm very interested when we regather on Monday to talk about who won this thing. We will be on your airwaves. Yes. You can get this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. You can check us out on the Showtime YouTube channel as well. And if you go to the podcast app, if it's on Spotify, if it's on Apple, you got to give us our 5-star reviews. Otherwise, Boogie will come clothesline your ass, apparently.
I'm going to find you.
And it helps us in the algorithm, people. We're a new pod. So go give us those good reviews, and we will see you on Monday.
Absolutely.